Now we're going to move into the question and answer session of the program. And again, we'll have 1 minute to answer. The timer's still front. Thank you, Michael. And we're going to start in the middle, and we'll move towards Ms. Squires. We'll start with Mr. Middleakis. You're up first, and then we'll come back the other way, start with Mr. Lawson, and come back, and we'll rotate from there. All right, here's your turn. Now let's get some questions from. We'll start. Chuck.
What is your position on the continued use of credit scoring on the personal auto policies?
Credit scoring on personal auto policies.
I'm totally opposed to using credit scoring on personal auto. Totally opposed. Is that short enough?
Thank you. Mr. Northern.
I'm opposed to it as well. One of the things that I definitely want to look at, a number of insurance companies have all these different rating tables. I think one of the companies that we represent has something like 35 rating tables. I think that definitely needs to be shortened down because, as you know, when you're out quoting something, you give somebody a quote, that can change when you get the final rate back. And so I want to see a reduction in those as well.
I'm opposed to it, but I need to see a little bit more science to help my opposition to it. There are a number of studies that prove that there is a connection between the two, and I need to see some more evidence. I'm very uncomfortable with it. I know many of the folks in the industry favor it. Many of the insurance commissioners are opposed to it. But it really comes down, I think, to an underwriting and scientific question, and we need to use the data that we have available to make the decision. There may be some in-between option where it's used on initial rating and then after a period of time, depending on payment record, we can adjust that. I don't know, but I will be looking at some creative ideas to help our consumers in that area.
Insurance companies certainly ought to have the ability to use underwriting criteria that actually is applicable to the policies that are being written. It's an issue that I've been taking a look at and studying. I know there's been a lot of debate going on, especially through the National Association of Insurance Commissioners on this issue. So it's something that generally I would be opposed to, but I also, as someone, as you might can tell from my educational qualifications, I'm someone who likes to study an issue in detail before I issue any sort of final position on that. So that's something that we are taking a look at.
Credit scoring is something that I know actuarially it's sound. Now, like everyone else that's spoken already, I do oppose credit scoring, but in my platform I propose something that I call Georgia Fair Score. I think we have to have an alternative in property and casualty for something like this. Something that includes experience, driver records, etc. You need a tool. Taking out credit scoring leaves you with no tool. But I would like to propose that we do look for an alternative tool, and that tool I call Georgia Fair Score.
Thank you, Mr. Lawson.
In these economic conditions that we're facing today, people's credit scores are dropping through no fault of their own. And I think that this does not go well for insurance rating this time. So based on that, I would be against using the credit scoring in rating insurance. But truthfully, beyond the economic conditions that we got today, I think there's some more study that needs to be done about this. But in today's economic environment, I think it's a bad idea.
I have some issues about credit scoring. When I first started looking into it, we started holding hearings on it in the House. And initially my reaction was not favorable, and I'm not sure that I've been convinced that this is something that we actually need or that's even necessarily good for companies. But they seem to think it is, or at least some of them think it is. One problem that I have with it is the problem that I have with a lot of other things we're doing in other lines of business as well. And that is because we have computers, we're able to parse the marketplace so finely that you can almost avoid what really I think has been the basis from when I started in the insurance business and everything I know about the insurance business. Somebody in the insurance business told me that we operated on the law of large numbers. The smaller we parse it, the more we parse it, the less we're involved with the law of large numbers, as far as I can tell. I'm no mathematician, but that'd certainly be one of the concerns I have about, I think we need to keep looking at it. As a general proposition, I don't favor it.
I guess I'm gonna be unique. I think that credit scoring and all the tests that have ever been run show that that's one of the best indicators they have of whether or not a person's going to be a safe driver and what their claims experience is gonna be. I mean, in Georgia, credit scoring is legal. I think it needs to be one of the tools that you have to determine what you're gonna charge your customer to pay for automobile insurance. I don't think you ought to use it uniquely. I think you ought to use experience and everything else, but I think that we need to keep that in the arsenal that you can use to determine what your premiums are going to be.
Credit scoring is a tool. Do I like it? No, I do not. Is it an accurate predictor? There's some indication that there is some accuracy in the use of credit scoring. I don't like it because it discriminates against the new driver, it discriminates the young person. It invariably, someone who does not have a credit record, or someone may have gotten a credit card while they were in college and have a large balance when they were paying for college. That person's going to show up as an unreliable credit person. I don't like it. I don't think that, but it is a tool, and it is a legitimate tool that does show some promise. But the problem is, do you base everything on that? No, you do not. I do not want that. I do not like that, and I do not favor that.